We're going to start. I'm Yin Chen. I'm very excited about this panel. Um, Myanmar or Burma.
Myanmar.
Myanmar. Oh, it's actually Sui is the expert, on this now. Myanmar is the hottest place in the world for news. And actually, I just came back yesterday. I got back and landed at 5:30 yesterday. Very exciting place, political changes going on, the media is opening up, stories everywhere, and the world is looking for stories, trying to understand what's going on. So it's great today that we have three, excellent panelists here. Two from, maybe I just give a quick introduction. We have Annie Chaperfun.
Close.
Oh, close. I'm sorry. No,
It's okay.
I made it when I practiced, right? She covers for Reuters. She covers Southeast Asia for Reuters, based in Bangkok, but travel a lot in the region. And so she will go first and give us an overview about Myanmar. And we have May. I won't venture to pronounce it. But May runs a news agency in Myanmar with more than 40 reporters. So she's going to tell us about her work. She is also an award-winning journalist. She was awarded a fellowship for her courage in investigative reporting in Myanmar. And then we have Sui Win, who is a freelance columnist, writer for the New York Times. He has worked for Irrawaddy. He's been in jail for 7 years, a political prisoner. Now he's writing with his authentic voice on Myanmar. So we'll start with Annie. Okay.
Is there a wireless mic?
Wireless mic. There was one. Yes. Okay.
I'm just going to go really quickly because I think panel discussion is more interesting. But how many people have been to Myanmar or Burma? Okay, good. All right, so I will go really quickly. Oh, whoops. No, I don't want to delete. I have been going in now for a year. My first time there was March of last year, and I went for the election. So what I'm going to hold on. Let's see, percent online. I'll give you a quick overview. There are just a couple pictures for the people who have never been there before. Myanmar used to be called Burma. Burma is one of the ethnic groups, right? And it's changed to Myanmar, which means fast and strong, right? Yeah. And, it is called Myanmar. That is the official name. I do get a little annoyed when people still refer to it as Burma, but officially it is Myanmar. But the UK and the US still refer to it as Burma. So yeah, just quick pictures. Shwedagon Pagoda, beautiful in Yangon. There are 135, I believe that is the most updated number, at least for that Reuters uses, official ethnic groups. Some of the ones that I've covered are the Shan, the Karen, the Kachin, and the Rohingya. Shan and Karen are on the border of Thailand. They have fled conflict zones, and I have been to both the Shan border and the Karen border, crossing illegally, actually, through Thailand. There is a Shan National Day celebration. Here's more. This is the Karen. Sorry if I'm going too fast. This is downtown Yangon. The reason I love Burma so much, or Myanmar rather, is it's such a virgin country. And like Ying said, it is very hot for news. Going around Southeast Asia, would you see colonial buildings like this? There are about a hundred or so. A lot of them are in downtown Yangon. Some of them are in tip-top shape, and some of them look like this. And a lot of investors, here's the Strand Hotel, that still functions as a hotel and offices. A lot of investors want to come in and turn the colonial buildings into malls or into more public places. Here's one that's, again, under construction. But a lot of them are very, very much intact, and they are probably the best colonial, that in all of Southeast Asia, you're not gonna see colonial buildings that are in that good shape. So there is a place called the Yangon Heritage Trust that is trying to conserve the colonial buildings. I am gonna move quickly now to the NLD, National League for Democracy Party, Aung San Suu Kyi. This was right after her win, right in front of the NLD headquarters. She is really good at, this was in Thailand, she is really good at just getting these massive crowds. And I'm gonna show you some Reuters videos very quickly that just kind of encompasses the inspiration and the hope that she gave to this country that was closed off for almost 5 decades. If you were moved by the Obama election, her election was like 100 times better, you know. Hold on. It's just, you know, I'm not actually a fan of hers, and I'm a journalist, so, you know, you can't really side with political politicians anyway. I do have some issues with her regarding not talking about Rohingya, not really coming out and saying. Before I get to that, let me just, the Rohingya are Muslims who live on the Bengali border. They are not an official ethnic group of Myanmar. The Myanmar government does not recognize the Rohingya. The Bengalis do not recognize the Rohingya. And this is a big story this year that Reuters covered last year and this year. There were attacks in June and October. Radical Buddhists going into Rohingya villages and basically burning down their huts, their makeshift tents. It is an ethnic cleansing. It is almost genocide. And we'll get into that later. There she is, if you didn't know what she looked like. Pro-democracy leader, was under house arrest for the better part of 2 decades. This was them voting. Oh no.
Oops. Call the technician.
That's weird. Okay. Well, maybe this one will play. No.
No.
All right. Well, we'll figure that out later. I want to stop here because I don't want to take too much time. But you can go online and see them. Unfortunately, I don't know why it's not playing, but it was really dramatic footage of. So I'm gonna just give it to May, and maybe it'll be fixed. Okay.
Can you fix it in 30 seconds? Okay.
So let's go to May.
Yeah, maybe May will speak.
Yeah,
and then
it's
we'll come
okay.
back to the video.
Sorry?
You want to stand there, sit there? Yeah. Okay.
It's okay. Everybody, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to express my gratitude for the invitations and giving me the opportunity to meet with my colleagues. Our country is under limelight on the international stage for the transition process from the military dictatorship to the parliament democracy. Under the transition process, there are many difficult, we are facing with many issues to solve. However, I would like to emphasize the issue related to the Myanmar media. On his speech at the Pidu Ludo Combined Parliament in March 2011, the President U Thein Sein highlighted the importance of the media in the democratic transformations and recognized as fourth pillar of democracy. The Ministry of Information has been trying to initiate the democratic media reformation. So, I have known that Myanmar had free and vibrant media in the past. However, in my life, I have seen only 3 newspapers in my country. Have you ever known that there is a country that had been exactly only 3 3 newspapers for about 5 decades. The ministry abolished the pre-publication censor in August 2012. In the following month, the ministry formed an interim press council. The ministry and the interim media councils are working on the media law, but it is strange that the media set a ban on a publishing and distribution business law to the Lotto. The interim councils and other media organizations reject the bill. Then, the ministry held workshops on the bill in some cities of the state and region to seek the suggestions and send them to the Lotto. For the publications of private daily newspaper, the ministry has licensed 26 newspapers, 24 in Myanmar language and 2 in English at the end of the April 2013. Among them, 7 private papers are running round with the 6 country-wide government operate daily. In the past, the state-run dailies had been a place of government and felt propaganda, and most people read for the obituary column and official announcement. But those dailies have already changed to public service paper. The private dailies are struggling to publish a real newspaper. That is why one of the private newspapers were abolished. The reporter have to move to weekly journals and magazines. After about 5 decades later, their experienced journalists, reporters passed away without leaving experience held in journalism. Now, the private media have facing the problem of shortage of reporters and editors. Therefore, at present, it is urgent to contact the capacity building of the existing young journalists and recruitment of young people as journalists. Without proper training in journalism, it is difficult to seek fair and just news stories, keeping ethic and responsible of a journalist, while fulfilling the gap in the quantity as well as quality of the journalists. The Myanmar media will gain the momentum to build up and improve media. Another issue is the social page on internet. People are using happy the Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and blogs and posting many writing news, photos, and videos. Among them, there are many anonymous with false or incomplete profile posting an ethical and irresponsible thing. Some journalists use their new freedom irresponsible in the new competitive. Due to insufficient number of skilled and experienced reporters, the printing media are using the unconfirmed and baseless news and stories and photos from the internet page, and are facing challenging and threat of defamation charges. Some publishers are trying to introduce pornographic materials. The citizens as well as media want to have their freedoms of expression, but we do not want to give the subversive the free opportunity to deter the transition process of the country to democracy. In the media forum, some said that the law without preconditions and pre-publication censorship should grant the freedoms of expression. And on the other hand, the unethical and irresponsible journalists should be controlled by judiciary, punished according to the law. It is time for the media to be responsible one to assist the transition process to the democratic parliamentary system. In whatever the reason, the Myanmar is back on the track to democracy and development. We do not want to turn back. Therefore, I would like to request our colleagues and friends, domestic and abroad, to assign us in establish a free, fair, and responsible media in Myanmar. I have a lot of things to say, but I think I should stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us a picture of the challenges and the democratic transition and the need. Now, Sui.
She has explained to you a long history of, not a long history, a recent history of transformations in the. So can you all hear me?
Yes.
So she has explained well enough. So I don't have nothing much. So let me talk about some of my personal experience with the media. As Yin has said, this is the hottest place. So I think I recommend that if you are a prospective journalist, if you are studying a journalist career, I think this is this can be one of your one of the best places for you to start a career, because there are many big stories going out there. This country has been closed from the outside world for over 4 decades. You have many things to explore. You can even become a even historian while you're working as a journalist, because there are many things we need to hear from the people. So in terms of media freedom, we have made a major bounce. Just before I came to this university 5 years ago, reporters have to write with fear. I remember hiding my my memory sticks, when there was a protest in downtown. Because I downloaded some of the news story in my thumbstick. I downloaded just normal, typical news stories. So all of these content can be done as done in violation of the electronics law. Also, if you report it negatively about something for an international news agency, you could be arrested. At least you could be taken away for questioning, maybe 2 days, 3 days. Sometimes you don't know. So now I came back to Burma last year, February. So I've been to Burma more than a year. I reported on many sensitive issues, including the ongoing conflict between the majority Buddhists and the minority Muslims in our country. This is the biggest story. Currently, this is the biggest story. I reported very critically on the conflict, but surprisingly, I didn't receive any reprisal or retribution from the government. So I'm happy about that in our country. And also for journalists, it has become easier to do the reporting. You have now internet. Just until a year ago, it's difficult for a reporter to access internet. Now you got many people are beginning to beginning to have access to the mobile phones. So anyway, you can communicate with the local people to a larger extent. So there are many things interesting going on in this country. So if you are going to Burma as a journalist, I recommend that you do this as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Why don't you tell a bit about yourself? You said you went back to Myanmar a year ago, last February, right? Where were you before? Don't be shy.
Sure.
Tell us a bit about yourself. I think it's very inspiring.
I came here to Hong Kong with a big ambition. I wanted to work for a prestigious international news agency. I wanted to get a permanent job, full-time job, and then I want to get 3 or 4 years experience. And then my plan is, after gaining some experience, I will go back home. But it was difficult for me to get a proper job here in Hong Kong. So, and then I ended up in Thailand as a second choice. I ended up in Hong Kong and then worked for an English news website run by a Burmese Azai group in Thailand. So I worked there for a couple of years, waiting for a chance to go back to Burma. So when things began more relaxed, I went back home, and then I found that I made the right decision. I mean, if you are now working as a freelance journalist for international newspaper, you will be overwhelmed with a lot of work. So
You were in prison?
So you said 5 years ago you came here. Actually, he came to our program. But before that, what did you do? Where were you?
5 years ago. Before I came here.
Sui is very modest. Let's start from the beginning. You were in jail. Why were you in jail?
Now, when I was a student, I got involved in a student protest, in an anti-government student protest. So I was sentenced to 21 years in jail. But luckily, I lived only 7 years, and then I was pardoned in a so-called amnesty, because they always use the word amnesty to release the prisoners, but this word amnesty has a lot of negative undercurrents, because they always detain the people and then release them. They keep these people as sort of hostages, political hostages. So when they want to send a message to the international community or to the opposition, political opposition in the country, they release and arrest the people who are against the system. So I lived in prison from 1998 to 2005. I lost my education. I never went to university. So I spent, luckily, I got samples to read. So for self-education behind the bars, so I spent some time reading this magazine and reading that book. So I came out of the jail in 2005. I didn't know what to do. The only thing I could do was read and write. That's it. So I started work as a reporter, as a local reporter. I also work as a translator in my home country. And then at some point, one of my friends, at the time I didn't know how to use the internet, but someone told me to apply for a scholarship at the University of Hong Kong. So I made an online application. It lasted only half an hour. So a week later, I got an email. So I did an online exam test at some point, and then I won a scholarship. So I came here. My story is quite long. Sorry.
Okay. You can talk to him later about how he traveled here, right, and then went back. But that's another story. That maybe we'll go to May. Why don't you tell us your story?
Yeah.
Now you run a news agency,
Yes.
right? And you sell stories from
Yes.
media organizations, right?
Yes, yes.
Why don't you tell us something about that? What you do?
Yeah.
And how do you
Okay.
start doing that?
Okay. I started writing in 1993 in Myanmar, and that is one of the private journals is just only one in Myanmar. 1993, I start is the feature stories, business stories. And at that time, it's never write about the political stories and human rights stories, and never. So it's 1997, I built the magazine, chief editor at and published, and the magazine is a Shwebazon magazine, and that is a business magazine. And then it's a 2004, government banned my magazine and my pen name. So I have 2004 August banned my pen name. It's don't write your pen name, and don't write don't write this. Okay, I change another pen name. I have a lot of pen name in this year. 2004 is I have a 30 pen name. So it's and then it's 2004 is I struggling to life, and the journalists are very difficult to freelance journalist life. So 2007 is a saffron in our country, in the monk and the demonstrations, and a lot of demonstration in 2007. 2007 February is it's one of the 20 years. Within 20 years, it started as a demonstration, a small demonstration. I cover the photo and interview with I release. And maybe 7 hours a day. So, and 2007 February and 2007 August, government banned my cell phone. So, cell phone, and it's okay. I have no money for buy another phone. I'm the PCO phone in Rangoon. I use a PCO phone. It's a 2007. September is a saffron and monk saffron demonstrations, monk demonstrations. I cover the stories, and then it's 2007. I won the ICFJ award, night award. As the ICFJ is a International Center for Journalists based on Washington D.C. So I attend the ceremony in this year, 2007, November. And I'm back in the 2008 January. I built the Myanmar New Agency with 4 journalists with me. So the government, they didn't allow to open the agency. No, you don't do that agency. Secretly working this agency, I sell the news to the VOA and the ARD. ARD is based on the Thailand. So I have a lot of banning in local, in country. So it's 2011 is in the change the government is I try. So I got the license is 2011 June is a Myanmar New Agency license. I got it. So I'm providing you to in local 16 journals, 2 newspaper and 2 radio station in local in my country. And then international is the VOA television and VOA radio. So now currently I provide the news. Now I have 41 journalists with me. And then another stringer is in another ethnic group in I have stringers and the freelance 21 freelance journalists with me. Now that is my stories.
Are you making money?
No. I lost my money. Yeah, and that is I have the 2008 is I have the money from the ICFJ award, so $1,000. Oh, I got build the agency, and then it's 2009 is I have no money for that. Also, okay, my mother land is sold my mother land, and then got the money and trying and struggling and my agency, and then now is 2011, 2012, April, I have no money. So, and another land, another block to sell my husband land. So, I think it's I spend money a lot for my mother, for my father, for my husband. Go. That's
But
my
it's
story.
valuable work, right?
Yes.
So maybe Annie, tell us that Sui and May take their job very, very seriously. Right?
Yeah, I don't
And-
at all. No, no. Well, I mean, as a foreign journalist,
Yes.
it's
Tell us what you.
I am not under that much risk. I mean, the most they can do to me is ban me. But these guys face prison. Our chief text reporter has been writing for Reuters for about 20 years now, and he always had a bag packed right by his door in case he ever had to go to prison. So it's a real threat there. It's still, I know it's a lot freer now, and I know it's easier for journalists like me to get in, but it's not perfect. You know, I still think these journalists are under danger still. I know some journalists have been hacked, so it is kind of like China. Their emails have been hacked. So, you know, and you said in your introduction that I think only 4, is it up to 7 now, that private dailies?
Yeah.
The newspapers are
7.
state-run.
Yeah.
So people
7
got
private daily.
yeah. So people got their news from the government, and it was wrong, or it was not reliable, or very one-sided. And very recently, April 1st, I believe, 4 private newspapers went daily, and now it's up to 7. And I think even the Myanmar Times, which is the English paper, is not daily yet, because you have to understand, as a foreign journalist going in, my biggest frustration was there's no internet, you know, or the phone is not working. And it's just these little things that make your job so much harder. And to produce a daily newspaper, I mean, you go to New York, or you go into any Western country, and who reads newspapers? Nobody. But in Myanmar, they were sold out by like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. All the private dailies were gone, because that, you know, they were banned. So to print a newspaper takes electricity, it takes manpower, it takes all these things that you don't really think of, that in Yangon even, electricity goes out every other day, a couple times a day. So as a foreign journalist going in, I was just like, really, you're kidding me? I can't send this story. So, but you know, Reuters, we're lucky we have the beacon satellite where we just can connect. And that's how we were sending stories on election day. We sent 6 stories that day, all from the beacon, and all very costly.
Okay. Now we talk about hot stories in Myanmar. So can maybe each of you can tell us, like, what are the stories that you're working on, that you think is important, that needs to be told?
Yeah.
What are the hot stories? Give us 3 maybe. Sweet.
I think the hottest story is a very controversial conflict, very, very controversial. This conflict between the majority Buddhist people and the minority Muslim population in our country. When I said this is a big story, you can imagine what happened in a town in the middle of the country just 2 months ago. 3 days of rioting, 3 days of bloodshed, butchering took place in the broad daylight. 3 consecutive days. 3 consecutive days. Very few international, very few reporters working for the international media made it there in time. We had local reporters. Our fear, now, our enemy is now not the authorities. Our fear lies with the local people. If we do proper reporting, we are faced threats from the local people. If you are a publisher of a news agency, you are running the risk of damaging your business, because you may face a boycott from the majority population. That's why we had this conflict which started last year in June. in the western part of Burma, in a region called Rakhine State, which is at the border of Myanmar and Bangladesh. We had this conflict, and then this conflict spread this year to central towns in the mainland of the country. But very few local media. We had over 130 private publications. Some of them are owned by the children of the army elite. Some of them are owned by the influential businessmen who enrich themselves, taking advantage of their relationship with the army. Some of the publications are in their hands. So very few local publications did interviews with the Muslims. Very few local publications printed photos of Muslims. I rarely saw.
But you went to the area.
I went to the area. I just went to the area 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. I was threatened. Actually, this is my hometown. This is my hometown, my mother's hometown. I'm a Buddhist. I tried to film the burning site of a Muslim house. The local people were quite angry with me. If you are feeling pity for the Muslims, then we must do something to you. We must do something.
So ethnic conflict.
Ethnic
Okay.
conflict.
So-
Someone said you will be taken away, you will be dragged away on the street. So
Okay, maybe let's ask
Sure.
May.
Yes.
So you have 41 reporters.
Yes.
So what are the stories they're working on? What are the hot stories?
It's a market in the media market is some stringers in steak and division, and then that is an ethnic story is very famous to sell the story, and then it's mostly in the journal, in local journal, is the business stories. It's
Business
a very
story.
popular in business stories. Which kind of business story is which company is invest in the areas, and they are really interested in the how many companies invest in Myanmar. That is most popular stories now. And then is an ethnic story is how plan the projects, and then is that is interest in another in our customers' journals.
Okay, so business investment. Who's
Yes.
investing in Myanmar?
Yes.
What kind of company going in?
Yeah, and
For-
they want to be the
Jobs.
jobs. Yeah.
Okay, what are the jobs that are being created, or
Yeah.
are there lack
Yeah,
of jobs?
Another thing is they are the how to protect the environments. They are environments. Environmental story is very popular.
Okay. Any?
Definitely the ethnic tensions as the number one story Reuters reports. It's called 969 movement, or but anyway, other than the ethnic tensions, I guess it's not a big story anymore this year because the ethnic tensions have overshadowed it, but last year there were a lot of ceasefire agreements between a lot of the ethnic armies and the Burmese government army. Unfortunately, these ceasefire agreements haven't really gone forward. One example would be the Shan State Army, which is one of the biggest ones. These separate armies broke away from Myanmar, so they're just different ethnic groups, and they accuse Myanmar military troops of raping women and just basically chasing these people from their homes, and they just go out to the border, and in Thailand you'll see all these refugee camps and they want to go home, and they can't because it's still a conflict. So I think that should qualify as a big story, even though it has died down, unfortunately, in international reporting this year. And the women who say that they were raped, they end up getting charged for prostitution. So it's almost a never-ending. The ceasefire agreement had all these points and negotiation talking points, and still nothing has really been, because people are still not able to come home.
How about Aung San Suu Kyi and the upcoming election? Right? What is the story about her now? I know she's an icon, right? There's a lot of support for her. And when I was in Myanmar, I was told that you just put her on the cover and it'll sell papers. Doesn't matter, right? Is it still true now? What is the story about her now? Sui.
Yes, many journalists trying to earn better revenue, more revenue by printing her photos on their front pages. I think it's still going on, but to a lesser extent these days. I think it happened just because of the last year by-elections. We had an election which put Aung San Suu Kyi to the parliament. So, but it's still going on. But we have now her coverage has become a little reduced to some extent, but it will continue to grow as we are approaching another round of election in 2015.
Right. And she's likely.
Well, there's something in the Constitution that's not allowing her to run, correct?
Sure. But many international media reporters, including us, cannot predict what's going to happen in the next 2 years. We are hoping that this will be one of the biggest stories in our country. This will be the turning point in the country's history if we had a free and fair election, if she were elected as she expects now herself, if she were elected as the head of the country, then we could hope more changes on the way. But still very much unpredictable, as the Constitution forbids her from being chosen as the president of the country, because she was once married to a British citizen. You cannot marry a foreign spouse, or you cannot have children holding a foreign citizenship if you are running for a presidential candidacy in this country.
So the issue has come up. They're trying to disqualify her from running?
She can run for the elections. She can run for the seat, for a parliament seat. But we don't have any elections, any presidential elections. Only the majority of the parliament will choose someone, a certain member of parliament as the president. But the problem is 25% of the seats are controlled by the army. So if you don't have a majority support, you cannot get elected as the president.
So the political transformation is a big story, and
Sure.
to be watched now until
Sure.
2015.
2015.
Okay. I'm sure people have questions. Okay. We have one question here. Maybe identify yourself so we know who you are. Yes.
Yeah, I'm very interested in your talk,
Are
and
you
my
from
name
Cambodia?
is yes from Cambodia. I'm very interested in your topic about the conflict. So I would like to know how you detect yourself from the reporting the story, because you said you are Buddhist, right? And how you write your story in the objectivity way, Thank you so much.
Sure. So this conflict is a very sensitive story. So when I wrote these stories, I tried to do a lot of fact checking. I did a number of interviews first, and then I try to be present when something takes place. I try to go to the area as quickly as possible to witness the scene. I cannot sometimes count on the eyewitnesses. Sometimes I cannot find eyewitnesses. I can find only ear witnesses sometimes. So I don't wish to rely on the ear witnesses. So I try to be an eyewitness myself. I mostly report for the international media, so there is no problem for me to get my story published. But I have some problem too. As a result of my reporting, I lost friends who are Buddhists. I lost friends, at least 20 friends I lost because of my reporting on this conflict. Because many people avoided reporting this issue because this is so sensitive. So sensitive.
The same with Reuters. We get complaints.
Question here.
Hi, I'm Christine from the Philippines, but I work for South China Morning Post. I just wanted to ask, I was thinking during your talk about Burma VJ, that documentary about underground journalism, so I just wanted to ask if you could shed light on how safe there were underground journalists who reported even during the time when the state had bigger control over the media, and what is the state of citizen journalism in your country today, if you still rely on these guerrilla reporters? Yeah.
May, you want to answer the question? Citizen journalism?
Yes.
Oh, actually, yeah, we used to have some reporters who work underground. We call this network as the Burma BG reporters who work underground using their cameras. But actually, the media landscape has dramatically changed. You no longer don't need to fear the authorities. You can, for example, back in 2007, you can be arrested if the police see you with a smartphone or a camera. He will at least question you. Just in the downtown, he will check your mobile, he will check your camera, and then if he find some controversial photos, he will take away your camera. But now it has become a lot easier. To be honest, actually, I'm very critical of the government, but they deserve some praise. They did a good job in opening up the media, even though the government is still not doing properly in terms of rule of law, what we call rule of law. You don't have any proper legal protection. If you're assaulted as a journalist, for example, you go to a sensitive area, and then someone assaulted you for your doing, but most probably the police will complain you instead of the asylums.
Actually, the exile media, like the DVB, Democratic Voice of Burma, Irrawaddy, and they're moving back inside the country because of
Or
the
trying
opening
to.
up.
Yeah, DVB hasn't moved back yet,
Yeah,
but
I
they
have
want to.
an answer. Is Burma VJ is a stay in the Rangoons, and then it's open their office, and they are providing news to the DVB. That is very openly, not secretly.
Okay. We have to take one question. Yes.
I think there's a lot of us who would like to go to to Myanmar in the next 6 months or a year to do some reporting, because obviously there's a lot of appetite. I wonder if you can offer, each of you can offer maybe some real quick tips in terms of, as a reporter coming on assignment into Myanmar, what are some things that we need to think about, either in terms of logistics, in terms of, who you talk to, in terms of, how officials will perceive you, any issues that we need to think about, any challenges that we need to think about, any things that would make, that reporting trip easier.
Can I go first? Well, people ask me a lot how I first got in, and it was mostly just me being aggressive, and I just said, "Hey, so there's an election in Myanmar. I'm going, right?" And just pitch your story that way. I think logistically, you definitely need a fixer. So someone who speaks both Burmese and English. You definitely need a driver who knows where they're going and who's safe. In terms of story ideas, I'm sure you can work that on your own, but I think those two probably are, and a way to transmit your story. So either a good hotel that has a decent connection. If you're a video person, you're going to need a lot stronger connection. Traders Hotel, Park Royal Hotel in downtown, Chatrium is another one that's closer to the lake, have incredible speeds that you can transmit video.
But those
so internet driver, fixer.
But those hotels are getting more expensive.
They are. But just go to the cafe, buy some coffee, like $2 tea, and just use their internet.
Okay, May, any tips, suggestions?
Firstly, to give education awareness on the role of the media to the people, is so I would like to emphasize the requirements for the maintenance of the journalists in Myanmar. Is to give education awareness on the role of the media to the people is the one thing. Second thing is capacity buildings of the journalists to know the duty, responsibility, ethics, and practice of the media. What is the public interest and defamation law things.
But that's for journalists in Burma.
Yeah.
How about people here who wants to go to do stories in your
Okay.
country?
Yeah,
Any
a lot
tips
of
you can
stories.
give them?
Yeah, so a lot
What
of
do they need to do?
stories.
Can they do it?
Open the mind. Open the mind.
Open mind.
Yes, because it's a lot of stories, and I think it's environmental stories, and then it's local peoples and need to education stories, and then it's conflict stories and in ethnic groups, and then it's business stories. So because of the most of the foreign company invests in Myanmar, so they already interest in the mining. So it's environmental stories and then a lot of stories in Myanmar.
Okay, Sui. Give
I
us
have,
some tips.
So what I want to say is you can report on many topics. You can go around. You can roam about the country, but don't touch the army.
Don't trust the army.
Don't touch the army. You will get into very serious trouble, because I tried to enter a compound controlled by the Navy. I was caught, but luckily I escaped. It happened 6 months ago, because I found that a Singaporean Navy ship was at the dock bringing some ammunition, latest sophisticated ammunition. So I tried to negotiate with the gag, with the sergeant, paying some money. I just wish to pick at what's going on, but unfortunately, I was caught. And then the officer decided to sue me, to send me to the police station. But then he realized if I were trying at the court, he would also get into trouble because of the less security arrangement at this so sensitive area. Actually, I never thought that this is so sensitive area. I just wish to have a peek at what's going on at the dock. So don't touch the army. My experience, don't touch the army. My experience is, it's been a year I've been reporting in Burma. Everything was okay, but don't touch the army.
Can I just add one more thing?
yeah, sure.
It's still a very cash-based society. When I entered last year, there were no ATMs. There's nothing. You just go in with really crisp U.S. dollar, $100 bills and change for Myanmar chat. Now there are ATMs, but I think the fee is like 20,000 chat per withdrawal. So it's still just go in with a wad of cash. It's very much like still Afghanistan and Iran, which are still cash-based societies.
Now, I don't speak Burmese, so can I do stories in your country?
Yes, you can
Yes,
do.
how
You
do
can
I
do
do it?
stories. You can hire translators who may be local journalists. You can hire some translators. Also, one more thing I want to add is, if you are doing interviews, if you are working in the major cities, and then you don't need to care about the local authorities, the harassment from the local authorities, but you should expect the harassment when you go to a smaller city. The harassment will be, the police or the military, the intelligence officials will be following you wherever you go.
Yeah.
This is the normal practice, and they, and then they will ask you your passport number, also your passport information page, the copy of your passport information, repeatedly again and again. At every checkpoint, they will ask you for the same passport details. Don't be scared, because this is the old system. The old system still continues in many parts of the country. So you just give away your passport details, and that's it.
There are a lot of villages that still ban foreigners too. Even I can't go in. So
I think it's they can help the foreigner. It's Myanmar people is very warmly, and I think it's they can help. And some foreigners they fear the police, and then it's police is in past year is they train the police is can help to the foreigners they train. So, and I think is I would like to advise you is if you would like to army or the something like this is you should try it. You should do it.
You should do it.
Yeah. You should do it. No.
But do it
Because,
legally.
legally. No, legally you should do it because it's most of the people and journalists are they are in the mind is that don't touch them. So, that is an old style, no? It's a change in Myanmar. It's you should try it. I advise you. You should do it. You try. No?
Okay, but don't get arrested. Right?
yes, please don't.
Yes.
Hello, hi, my name is Trina. So I'm just wondering, since all three of you do mostly political stories, I was wondering how do you actually filter out your local sources to ensure that they're actually reliable?
Pardon me, sorry.
How do you ensure that your sources are reliable?
Yeah.
Who can trust and who cannot?
Yeah, is and I in my agency story is my house time is three source. Yeah, one story is need three source. One source is real people. No, second source is authority man, and then is another source is the academic source. Academic source. Yes, so it's need three source. Some story is two source is okay. One source never use these stories. So and at first it's very difficult to confirm. Now it's very easy, not difficult.
So no one source story. Check your sources.
Yes.
Okay. Alex? Oh, can you speak to the mic?
Sorry. Hi, May. You mentioned earlier in your speech that the 4 decades of political repression have led to a shortage of experienced reporters, experienced local reporters in Myanmar. It takes time to develop expertise. What do you see as the short-term solutions to filling that shortage? Is it necessarily needing foreign journalists to come in, or is there another way to address this?
Yeah,
Thank you.
and 20 years ago, is the journalists in military government in this period, the under-military government, they released the journalists in the jail. So it's they gap. It's more experienced journalists pass away. So not experienced journalists in this time, in the young people join to the media. So. And then at first it's a very few limit experienced trained journalists, a very few. So now is a more young journalists join in media. Is a media reporter. Is so many reporter, but it's a experienced journalists are very few. So I mean, what do you mean, sir?
So the question is, so that's why this. Everybody talk about we need capacity building in the media organization.
Yes.
Now, do you see more foreign journalists coming in to do the stories?
Yeah, foreign journalists coming in my country, but they can long time.
They can do it long time.
Yeah, because it's no electricity and internet connection is delay. That's a problem for them. They can stay in long time.
Okay. But how do you do?
I think it will take a long time before we can train young people, more young people, to become a professional, experienced journalists. The journalism courses alone will not be enough. We have a very dysfunctional education system. It needs to be changed before we start training young people and expect them to become professional journalists.
Yeah. So there's a question here. So we need more journalists inside the country.
Yes.
More training.
Yes.
That's perfect. You talked a lot about coverage about the conflicts and people being displaced. Are there any coverage and almost kind of like feature stories about the lives of these people and how it's changed them and being in these internally displaced people's camp?
Excuse me. The stories that Reuters has covered, we do. Unfortunately, it's so hard to get into those places. And the coverage that we do get, we do their daily lives, and it's horrific. For me personally, the Rohingya is the most devastating. They are literally starving. I never got to my videos, did I?
Oh.
We can do that later. Yeah, it does. You'll see. Let me just very quickly show you some of the camps and the villages that they're living in that have been burned down. Sorry.
Okay. It works now.
So look at where they're living. This is the Rohingya, and they're living in makeshift tents. They were their villages were burned, and you can't even sustain living like this in the rainy season. And this was during the cyclone scare, Cyclone Mahasen, that just came by, and they had to evacuate. And this is their lives. So, and this is not just a Rohingya as well. This is what the Karen and the Shan and the Kachin who are at the borders in Thailand, very similar living conditions. So,
Can you go there and report?
can I go there? Probably. No, I have not. This is our man inside.
And inside.
Yeah.
Burmese.
Correct. He's saying that he only gets one rice, I think. that he only gets like one packet of rice a day, and he gives it to his children. So they're starving and they're dying. So.
Okay, I think we're running out of time and it's noisy outside. One last question. Sam, you have a question? Okay. Quick and sweet.
The easiest way to reach the rural area is through radio. So if I have enough funding today, can I just go in and make a new radio station?
Make a new radio station.
Yeah. Yes, I think it's a government allowed to the community radio license they were allowed to the license the private, and now it's a 7 private FM radio stations. I saw that new 2 FM stations. It's a one is an ethnic group. It's a Shan State, and then another is an ethnic group in the Myanmar.
So, actually, a lot of potential.
Yes.
That's a great
idea.
A lot of potential for radio.
Yeah.
Cheap and versatile.
Yes.
Go in.
Yes.
So we want to thank the panel very much. Let's give them a big hand. If you search Google for their names, and you'll find more about them, about their stories. And so Sui Win would be Sui Win in New York Times. You'll find his column on ethnic conflict and others. In May, his agency has an English version, yeah, right? And I'm sure people can find your stories too, right? Okay, thank you very much.
I just want to thank Ying for making this panel happen. It would not have happened without her. So let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you very much.
Go Myanmar, go Burma.